Good morning and welcome back to our lives. I am currently obviously having breakfast on my own because Dan has gone to the gym and to do cardio. Summer is joining me, so she's already had her breakfast. We have a bit of a day planned today in terms of we're going to run you through both our setups at the moment because Dan has now officially started prep. He will go through all that with you. I am 4.5, 5 weeks out from a photo shoot, the first one of the year. So this is going to be a post-Partum shoot, which is quite nerve-wracking, but I will talk you through my setup shortly, and then we are going to go to the gym. Myself and Ashley are going to train. Dan is going to train, I'm not sure with Sean or not. I'm going to get some videos of that, and then we've got Kevin Levrone coming down for the seminar at Viking Gym, so that'll be all filmed as well, and then we'll just obviously run you through the day-to-day bits in between. So first meal of the day for me is pretty explanatory. I have 2 eggs and 100 grams of egg whites. A little bit of ketchup, a little bit of salt. That is literally it. So adapting to obviously motherhood as my first child, I've just said I'm absolutely winging it. Like she's just started feeding, like eating kind of foods. She's eating a bit of every single meal that we have. She's a chunky monkey, should we say. She's eating everything really, really well. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just rolling with the times. Like there's so much information out there, and I think you just naturally, everyone always says you just know when you know, and I think you do just kind of have an instinct. So like there's no official routine. We're not doing like certain naps at certain times. When she's tired, she sleeps. She's adapted very, very well to our lifestyle. Like she sleeps really well in the gym with the music. I think because I trained the whole way through, she's just not bothered. When we went to Texas, she slept the whole flight. It's like 20 hours of journey, and she was so good. She got complimented a lot. She had barbecue food out there. She fitted in really, really well. She went to all the events. She met all the pros. She doesn't know what she's had and when she's had it. She's had a lot of experiences already without knowing about it. But yeah, just trying to adapt as and when to what she's kind of changing, like she's changing obviously daily, and it's trying to learn and adapt with her around what we're doing. So yeah, don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. Is this going to be, what do you call it when people go on sides? Like a controversial topic? Can you tell the difference between branded ketchup and normal ketchup? Because Dan is a snob and will only eat Heinz. I put this on his meal the other day, and the next day he went, by the way, I knew that you put the cheap ketchup on my meal last night because it tasted like shit. And I went, how did you know? So I buy myself the cheap one. I'm saving monies here. And I buy myself the cheap pineapple. Dan will only eat, what is it? Dole's pineapple. If it's not Dole's, he ain't eating it. So can you tell the difference?
Okay, good morning everyone. So for anyone that cares, because most people probably don't give a shit, I am actually in prep now. I know that is the most important thing for the person in prep, but everyone else doesn't really give 2 shits. So breakfast at the moment, 3 whole eggs, 200 ml of egg whites, 150 grams of sourdough, and then I will have 100 grams of pineapple alongside this as well. I'm only 2 weeks in. Life is hell. No, not really. Obviously, it's just pretty smooth sailing at the moment. It will get difficult at some point, I'm sure. Things are moving pretty smoothly, dropping weight already. Probably see that stabilize a little bit over the next couple of weeks, just as the cycle starts to fully saturate in my system. But yeah, all systems go. So meal 1 today, just got back from cardio, which is why I'm a sweaty mess. Meal 1 is 3 whole eggs, 200 ml of egg whites, 150 grams of sourdough, and then 100 grams of pineapple.
And what pineapple is it?
Dole.
Because that's all Daddy eats, doesn't he? That's all Daddy eats. So, come here. She's more interested in mine than hers. Pre-workout for myself is 75 grams of cream of rice, 30 grams of isolate, 20 dark chocolate, 100 fruit. Dan's is 100 grams of hydro rice by Engineered. Absolutely loving it. 50 grams of isolate, 20 grams of dark chocolate, 100 fruit. We're going to have this, head to the gym. I think I'm going to train first. Dan's going to have summer, and he's gone to get his hair cut. and then he's going to train as well. So we've just got to the gym. I am going to hit a leg day, obviously. We've got Smith machine hip thrust, RDL, leg press, leg extension, and glute kickbacks. So come along. Especially post-pregnancy, I'm focusing on a lot on obviously my core work, making sure my breathing's right before I go into the sets, and then just my natural mobility. So because everything's still quite lax, I have to make sure that I am spending the time to warm up. So hip thrust, I would generally say a lot of people get them wrong and don't feel them in the glutes because they're just extending the back. And they're losing tension throughout the movement. So when you're doing them, keep it slow, keep it controlled. I always try and say separate the movement. So squeeze up with the glutes, making sure you've got a neutral spine. Tuck the head a little bit, don't fully extend. Pause there and hold the weight, but then also as you're coming down, almost resist the weight and keeping your glutes tense and on. When you come to the bottom, again, hold the weight so you're feeling it at both the top and the bottom, and then go through the movement itself. But because this is like, obviously my scar is right on my bikini line, this is obviously sitting on my bikini line. So some people come in, especially like in the earlier days, like obviously I'm 5 months now, maybe like 2-3 months when I started doing these again, everyone would walk in and be like, should you be doing that? Are they okay? And obviously again, it's just they felt okay. I just kept them a bit lighter. The last week or so is probably the first time in a long time that I've been able to go kind of back to my old weight. So I think I did 160 or 165 on my last rotation, so like last week, and that was the first time I've done that in a long time. So I'm hoping that it continues, but we will see. Show the camera. She's got a little rat's tail, it's like 6 hairs long. Last night it was curled up, so her hair's obviously how it is, and she's got one long bit that comes down, but it was actually curled up. It was like a little tail. Another quick tip, when you're setting up your hip thrust, regardless of whether it's on like this or a machine or anything, try and make sure your shins stay vertical. So generally if you want to optimize obviously your glute, you want to keep a straight shin. So I always say, as soon as you come down and your knees start to fall forward, you've gone too far. So I always just keep, especially at the beginning, if you're teaching someone, try and keep an eye or get them to keep an eye on their knees, and obviously just monitor that. That will keep your shins nice and straight and keep it all on your glute. Takes my breath away more than anything. I'm sure this is what I used to do, if not maybe 170 maybe, when I was fully on cycle, fully before I had a baby. This is why I get excited. So if I can do this 5 months post-Partum, 5 months post-C-section, fully natty, then what can I do like a year down the line? We will see. Oh, I lied. I only did 145. When I said I did 165 last week, last rotation, I didn't. I did 140, 145, and then I put a note saying go up, because it felt all right, but I didn't do 160. Oh well, done it now. I'm about to do it again. That's not bad. I'm sure I did that, but I think maybe Carla said let's do 160 and I was like, slow down. Speaking of psychological within the gym, obviously when I do one-to-ones, a lot of my women don't see what I put on the weight. So as in they'll get in a movement, I'll just pile weights on and they'll kind of like distract themselves or I'll distract them. And unknowingly, they'll PB or push what they would usually put on. So I might say, what do you generally get on here, or what do you usually do? They might have a number in their head and we'll usually go a little bit above that without them realizing it is all up here. I think as well, when you know what you've done, let's say you've done a big lift and then you know you've got to match that like now, then I think you get in your own head because you're trying to be like, do you know what I mean, beat that number. And then obviously not every day is going to be a fantastic day. So you might be tired, you might have not had as many meals, you might have not been as like hydrated, anything. And then if you have that in your head, it can kind of put you off a little bit. But we do it anyway. first one done. Onto RDLs. So, currently got a hernia. I'm gonna try this hernia belt and just see if it helps support my tummy not falling out. Basically, it's like booby. No, basically it's just obviously a sponge. It's quite a hard sponge. It's gonna push against your hernia. Mine's like an umbilical hernia from birth. I think it was from birth. Like not me being birth, me obviously giving birth. So this is gonna press against it as a brace. So it shouldn't push out as much, because generally, since having summer, I would say every big movement, even the little ones really, I have to push my hernia back in, and it's a bit, not very nice. It's a bit like bubble wrap, and obviously I just don't want it to get worse. So if I can do anything, I know obviously lifting heavy and through it is not gonna help, but if I can do anything to support it until I get surgery on it, then obviously I'll try. And I'm not gonna just not lift or lift light, because I ain't got time for that. So this, and I think my squat is probably the two movements that I've still stayed quite safe on. And it's not even staying safe, to be fair, it's me just not being able to get past a bit of a fear. I don't even think it's like a weakness. I think it's more of a mental block. So because I'm obviously in a vulnerable position with these, and the same with a squat, I think I've just got a bit of a mental block. I think on the leg press I feel a bit more secure, same as the Smith machine. So anything like that, I feel like I can push it. But here on the squat, not so much. Feels all right. So with my mammy physio, basically I seen a physio the other day for like post-Partum recovery and C-section recovery, trying to build my TVA a bit more from internal like core work, along with the hernia and the separation. So she's basically told me to relearn everything I do in terms of breathing. So as bodybuilders, we used to obviously brace our core, which is fine, but we usually brace and push down a little bit. So trying to work on your pelvic floor, you want to almost pull everything up. And she's taught me to exhale on eccentric, pause, get a little breath, and then exhale on the way on the concentric as well, which obviously you can't do when you're taking it really heavy, not this heavy. But it's generally like body weight movements or really, really light movements, just kind of activate the core and then try and take them into the movements throughout and just try and rebuild like that. But it's very the opposite of what I usually do, and the opposite of probably what a lot of bodybuilders do. Because everything's ingrained, we don't really think about our breathing because it is just a natural byproduct of what we're doing. It's always there. Whereas when you're actually actively thinking about it, it's very, very difficult, because you're almost trying to keep a hold of that weight with all your structure and move it with intent and control, but then obviously actually doing the opposite breathing technique. So it can throw you off massively, because then it's like when you first ever learn a movement, there's so much to think about. Whereas when you've obviously been doing it for 10 years, you don't think about all them fine bits. They're just there. So now I've almost got to like relearn it from day one again. So I always explain to my clients when they get frustrated with a movement, whether it's a posing like technique or a training technique, let's use an RDL as an example. It's like learning to drive a car. So there's so many points that I'm shouting at you, I'm trying to teach you. So obviously keeping your head neutral, keeping your core spine neutral, keeping your core braced, pushing your feet into the floor, keeping hold of the bar, keeping your upper locked in, keeping your lats engaged, then obviously moving correctly through the movement and breathing. It's a lot to think about all at once, especially when you're new to it. So it's like when you learn to drive a car, there's the wing mirrors, there's the, what the hell's that called? Rear view mirror. There's the wheel, there's the pedals, there's the gears, like everything, let alone looking at the traffic and the road. So when you first are a learner driver, you think, I'm never gonna get this, like there's so much to focus on. And then obviously eventually a year later, you're just driving without even thinking about it. So take that going into the gym with any movement or any skill actually, because everyone always starts as a beginner, and it's just obviously rinse and repeat and get confident at it. feel like that's the most I've done in a while. It felt okay. But it's just annoying because it's obviously still far away from what I did before, so felt like getting there. Then I got leg press. But every time I get excited for like a heavy leg press, or like the last session I did, I got really excited to kind of just get my legs done, and then I pulled something on the first movement. So sometimes I've done a leg press and it's like 300, and then the next week it'll be like 200 and that'll be a push. So although I'm getting excited, I'm trying to not get excited because who knows what can happen. So with my recovery, like my physio, so I think I touched on my flat feet last time. So basically whilst being pregnant, like all my connective tissues become a bit lax, just with hormonal changes and things. So when I seen a physio recently for my shin splints that I've suffered with for years, they've just got worse since being pregnant and post-pregnancy. So it basically causes you to get flat feet. So I basically need to retrain my arches in my feet, but that's then thrown me off, which is why my squat isn't as good. Because it's like I can't remember the actual name. There's like a muscle down here that connects like to your big toe, and obviously your shin, and where that's all lax and become flat-footed, like that controls your balance at the same time. So it's basically thrown off your balance. Like, do you know your thumbs, I'm sure it's your thumbs and your ears help your balance as well. Maybe it's just your ears and your big toe actually. It's basically that, so your balance is thrown. So I don't feel as confident with my core, but then also with this. So Dan watched my squat the other day when I said it felt a bit shit, and he said my ankles are rolling in a little bit, which I've never had, and obviously it's since being flat-footed. So I've actually ordered some squat shoes that should be here tomorrow, I think. So I'm gonna try them. But yeah, you basically need to retrain your arches. So I've not only got mobility for my core, my breathing, I've got it for my shin splints, for my feet, and then for my hips as well, because the physio said I've got tight hip flexors, obviously from the changes through birth. So basically retraining everything. But right, so Dan did actually used to make his mum wash the knee sleeves maybe once a year as a treat for her. Now she's no longer with us. I have had to do it. I have not done it since she passed, and I probably won't ever do it. I won't do it. It's just pointless because, yeah, they're horrific. So every time he finishes cardio or training, he'll throw his top at someone, and it's disgusting. Like the repulsed, they are repulsed, aren't they? Are your sweaty tops? Yeah. He was just asking if I wash your knee sleeves or wash my knee sleeves. Mine don't get wet like his. His are soaking and they actually stink, don't they? New one? Oh, not the new ones. I think it was last week. Every set's been feeling different, so I was like, I'll do 260 and did like 8 reps, and I was like, that felt all right, I'll go 300. That felt all right, and then I was like, I should probably go a little bit higher. Actually, I think I stopped there and I was like, right, be sensible, next week go higher. So then I did the same again, I did 260, 280, 300, and then I was like, feels all right, I'm gonna do 310. So I did that for like 4 solid sets, and I was like, probably should have got a bit heavier. So then the next session I did 280, I missed the 260, did 280, 310, and maybe 320. But again, sometimes I've been doing that and then I'm thinking, right, 400 today, obviously not. And then I might get 200 and I think it feels horrific. So that's why I just generally go up a plate at a time, just do a couple of reps and see how it feels, but who knows? This is the good and bad thing of logbooks as well. Because obviously if I'm looking at my logbook for the last like 3 rotations of leg press, I've managed to hit like 260, 280, 300, 320. Whereas I have had the odd session where it's fell back to like 240 max. So although it's a good thing to see what I can progress on from last week, I've got to take everything with a bit of a, what would you say, pinch of salt, because with being in the state that I am, I can't always afford to progress every single session, and that's not always going to happen, regardless of whether you're coming back from a surgery or a pregnancy or whatever else. You're not going to progress every movement, every set, every session. So take your logbook
and try and beat obviously yourself from last week, but not across all areas and not always just in weight. So obviously you can progress in, just make it, like I said with the RDLs, making it feel a little bit better in terms of like connection, slowing it down, the tempo, the control. Obviously, yes, the weight, maybe getting 1 rep more, things like that. So it's not always just piling the weight on. Although I've said I've progressed quite well the last few weeks, I might just stick on that or even come lower, but they feel a lot better. So it's just taking every, I would say, day as it comes. Like you don't always need to take progression in like 5 kilo, 10 kilo. You can use like the 1.25s or 2.5s. But then for myself, I mean, I know I did on the RDL, I did use them 2.5, but on myself, I very rarely use them, which I probably should. But I just feel like unless you're sticking a 20 on, it's pointless. See, now I've got nerves. Be a big girl, be a big girl, be a big girl. Teaching the women to be strong from a young age. Summer, come and stare at me. Dan, will you spot me, please? I don't know if I want Dan to spot me because you'll make me cry. My little bum cheeks. It's like 2 potatoes. I can't. I was gonna die. I was close to death there. No, I wasn't.
Because you're taking too much now.
It's in my head, I know it is. Should have got that. Oh well. Yeah. So shifting the mindset going into a set. So I've just said before I've done that set that I was nervous and scared like 4 times. Whereas the last 2 or 3 sessions I've done on this, it's actually felt very easy and I've gone above that. So I've been getting like 300, 310 on the leg press for 2 straight sets of 10 to 12. Felt pretty comfortable, no spot, no one else around, just me and the set. There, I've gone in and I said I'm nervous, I'm scared, and I've got 300 for 11, but I felt like it was a lot harder than usual, and it's because up here's not switched on as much. But I've also noticed I'm a bit more tired today. Like I just said to Andrew, like, the one thing I noticed today is I do feel tired, I do feel like my eyes are heavy, but the devil on my shoulder, I'm like, angel and devil, part of me thinks, just fucking get on with it, switch your mindset around, push hard, push through. No matter if you're feeling tired, it's not an excuse. Like, just because you've been up all night with the baby, doesn't matter. Just because you're tired from working so much, doesn't matter. Like, athlete mindset, you need to just switch on and go. Like, no one else is sat there moaning about it, they're doing the work. But then obviously the recovery side of me and coach side of me would say to any client, right, listen to your body. If you've pushed hard the last few sessions, this one's not too bad to pull back a little bit. Obviously, just listen to your body. Maybe just stick with how you are today and then see how you feel for the next one, but just don't push it too much if you're not feeling it. But yeah, it's hard. New man mentality. So I've seen something as well recently. I don't know how true this is. Basically, if your baby was getting crushed by a car or something or in an accident, you have this like inner instinct to obviously like save the baby. And there was that study or something that happened where a mum lifted a car to save their kid. So I've actually used that with a couple of my clients when they're really struggling. So like, imagine your kid was under this leg press and you had to get it off them. And honestly, the instinct that kicks in, it is something, but maybe I'll pretend Summer's being squished. like this is one movement that I can't push past. Like, you know, when you get that lactic acid build-up, and some people, it's like, some people can just go through it and keep going and they're like psychotic. Some people just, as soon as they feel it, they have to stop. Like, I'm one of them, I just cannot. As much as I want to go through it, I literally can't. It's already starting to go. That's how you get rid of it. So obviously I'm not the tallest, so I have to really pick my machines or adapt them to my height or whatever. So most of the time it's obviously the shorter the ankle, the smaller the back plate. But then sometimes I need like an extra pad behind me, or like here, I find the handles behind me because I'm so far forward. My handles are behind me, which is hard. Then it's usually like on the prime, they're really wide. So obviously for someone that's petite, you just don't feel secure because you feel like you can't lock in. So for any manufacturers, make sure that you do it for 5 foot people. Because I find that on literally, I don't think there's been a perfect machine. Every machine has to be adapted or it doesn't feel quite right, as good as I want it to. But this isn't actually too bad. Like sometimes dancers like hold the seat, but then you can't grip quite as well because your hands just slip. If you're going light, you could probably do it, but obviously when you're getting heavier, you just end up slipping. So then halfway through the set, I feel like I'm concentrating more on that than the actual movement. It's like the same as when you're using straps on a machine. Obviously you're using straps to take your grip out of the equation and actually focus on like your lat, for instance. Whereas when you're gripping here, all I'm thinking about is my grip rather than my quads. So that's why I think I'm staying a bit lighter as well, because although I can do the weight, I'm not getting much out of it. So again, I know I've got more there, but my shins, where they're obviously struggling at the moment, that's towards the last 2 reps, all I get is like pure shin. My quads stop working and my shins just take over. But they're getting better. I'm literally doing physio every single night. Sometimes I'm doing it pre-session and then sometimes I'm doing it on an evening, depending on whether I'm training or not. And it is working. It's just obviously, like anything, it's consistency. So, shin splints from the flat foot. Like, when I used to have them, I think it was even like last prep, if I was doing anything like a leg press of 15 reps, no matter what the weight, where my legs were like above me, it felt like I'd lost all circulation, like all my blood had come out of my legs. And it was just horrifically painful. So anything above 12 to 15, I really struggled with. If it was like a 15 to 20 set, impossible. It literally just stopped. So I just ended up going heavier for shorter reps and not ever really addressing the problem. I just worked around it. And now I think because I'm recovering, just taking everything as like, right, let's just fix everything from internal and all the baseline and then start moving forward. And I do feel a lot better, but at the same time, you feel like you're going backwards a lot of the time. But I know it's gonna be beneficial. Last exercise of the day, kickbacks. Generally I've been going between a normal glute kickback mead coming out to the side and sometimes a glute press like coming down, so you get a little bit more ham out of it. But today, because I've done RDLs, I'm probably just going to go with a normal kickback. Again, a lot of people do these wrong, where they see an influencer online and they'll literally like extend their whole body. And yes, you're coming as high as physically possible, but that's through like your back extension and pelvic extension rather than actually your glute working as hard as it physically can. So your glute is only going to move like such a short range. So you need to make sure that you are actually utilizing that rather than just getting as high as you can. So I've been seeing a physio for my shins and my glutes because when I last competed, my glute mead, like my upper glute, was my weaker area. So as much as I train it, it's a hard muscle to train anyway, but I just felt like one side was firing or more than the rest, so you could see it in my physique. So I've been to see a physio who specialises in certain things like this. He scanned it with an ultrasound and also did some electrodes on it with like stimulation. So he kind of stimulated both sides and seen that my left side was a little bit lazy. So he's given me some warm up and activations to try and help fire them in different ways that I probably don't do, because I've been using kind of the same glute activation protocol for, I don't know, the last year or so. And although I feel it, it's not enough to get my glute firing, especially my left one. So we're trying different things to try and like waken it up, basically. So, quick tip as well on these, which I see more often than not, is when you're doing a kickback, make sure the hips or pelvis is always staying straight on. So, for instance, if you're doing my right side, let's say you're hip thrusting from here, don't let it open up. So, a lot of people will do this to actually get the movement up. So then you're not actually getting any glute contraction whatsoever, you're just opening your pelvis up to get the movement. So, I always say if you can stabilize yourself in whichever form you need to. Some people prefer to stand like to the side a little bit, some people are more upright, some people are more bent over. Whatever you find best for you to keep yourself stable and facing the front, that's where you want to be. You want to be dragging your foot into the floor and coming back, but think of coming down and back, don't think of coming like up and back, because that's when you'll either come extension-wise and really high, or you'll open up rotation-wise. We don't want to have any of that kind of external rotation. We want to make sure that the glute actually contracts in that small range. That is my training wrapped up as well. So I'm going to let Dan get on with his session. I'm going to go get some sort of hair out, and then we'll be back with you.
Okay. All right, so we're just about to hit push. It's Monday, International Chest Day. We've got Big Sean. Or he likes to think he's Big Sean anyway.
I am big.
So we're going to start off with just warming up the triceps. I've got a bit of tendonitis in the elbow, so need to make sure that's nice and warm, and then we'll start going on to the heavy pressing movements from there. We should do a leg update.
Sure.
With your leg day tattoo.
I don't really like that bad now. The
Yeah.
came on, they actually came on now, look. They don't look bad now. Ish.
Not as bad.
I'm in prep now, aren't I? 2 weeks out.
Okay, so exercise number 2, Arsenal strength incline press. If anyone knows Arsenal strength equipment, it is heavy as fuck. Haven't done this for a while. Just playing around with movements to see what feels good on my elbow. We've done a couple of warm-up sets on here. Actually feels all right. So probably going to work with this next load. So yeah, exercise number 2. But with Carlos, feel for it.
Yeah.
On shoulder press and that, didn't you?
We did Riaz. So I did Riaz now. I've got him young and I'm kind of strong. Then I got a shoulder press and he beat us. So Nah, I wouldn't say easily.
So I would say easily.
If you're watching, I'll be back. Actually, will. All you done. Up, up.
Yeah, that actually felt quite good. Max I've ever done on it is 3.5 plates. So considering this is like first run out on it, 3 plates aside, quite a good starting place. And elbow actually felt decent on it as well. Go, that's you, that's you. Right, so exercise number 3 is the flat gym shot press. So very similar to Nautilus. So obviously we've done incline, we're going to do flat now. Again, I'll just take my time on my elbow, although it is feeling quite good. Because we're about halfway through, I've just put my amino acids into my intra drink, which I've been sipping on through training, which has got 50 grams of carb powder and also 3 grams of salt in there, just to obviously replenish electrolytes as we train.
Yep. Check. Hold it, come on. Yep.
Come on then. Right, exercise 4, we're going to use a dip machine. We're going to make this more chest focused, so you'll notice we lean into it more just to bring the chest into this movement as well. I do have it on my arm day as well, where we sit more upright to bring more tricep in, so you can manipulate machines to make it work in a profile for whatever you're training. So yeah, chest focused dips. So you see how I come up into a nice stretch there, making sure that we fully stretch the chest as we lean forward, so therefore hitting this part of the chest as we go through the movement. So one way you can obviously extend the set, well, on a lot of movements, I probably wouldn't do it on compound movements, like pressing movements, but dip machine, you could do a few partials in the stretch. Definitely things like side laterals, which we're going to go on to at the end of the session. You can get a little bit more out in that length and range just by hitting some partials at the end. I know there's a lot of people saying you should only go to mechanical failure and that, but as we all know, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And, you know, we've seen some of the greats do partials on movements, and it's very effective. Right, so exercise 5 is pec deck. So a little tip on here, make sure you keep your chest up. Think more about driving the elbows and the biceps together. You'll see a lot of people almost round the shoulders and bring that through. You're actually not going to put a lot of tension through the chest doing it that way. So keep the chest elevated. As I say, think about meeting the bicep and the elbows. You're going to get a lot more tension through the pecs.
I had a shit session, so I went to Greg's. Dan's never in at 5 o'clock. You're not in, I'm up. I got into Greg's and I've gone through the gym because I park on the back. And walking past and all that, I clocked down, he looked at me, and I took a bite in his steak and I started running. All he seen was Dan run out of the gym like this with his big legs. And I left him. Didn't let this put you off, you know. I moved like the wind.
But then the second time
he nearly caught up.
he shit himself. I had a little bit more distance. Takes me a while to get up to speed. And he had to lock himself in the van. He left his missus, locked her out of the van. So I caught her, dragged her in and put her on the stepper.
And I drove away. I left her. I don't care. I was terrified. I don't like doing cardio. It was cardio.
It was for cardio.
You're doing cardio. Dan hates me when I do cardio, so I was like, fuck this. So I ran out and Dan just came booling behind us. I thought, oh shit, he's actually catching up. No, and you're like, I couldn't open the van. I was like, then I locked it about 6 days later.
He's working in. Right, so final exercise and new addition to a Viking gym, the Nautilus Nitro lateral raise. So we've just got 4 sets on here, fairly high rep, 10 to 15 reps. So yeah. So this is one of those movements, like I said, I think you can finish with partials, just to get that little bit extra out in the length and range, and just really feel that burn and pump. So just on the subject of partials, because obviously we've brought it up a couple of times in this session, and probably intensifiers in general, so your drop sets, your rest pause sets. Like I said earlier, you wouldn't do it on, say, a flat press, incline press, hack squat, anything like that, because they're taking a lot of demand to perform those movements. Obviously, with isolation movements like side delts, biceps, triceps, they're smaller muscle groups. Their recovery capability is a lot higher. So is it that detrimental to throw in an intensifier at the end? Probably not. And it's just going to allow you to get that extra little bit of stimulus. So long as you keep form good, you're not just chucking the weight and using your whole body to get those partials out, then you will see a response from them. Yeah.
Post-workout meal just at the gym, I've got 125 grams of chicken, 60 grams of rice and some veggies, and 10 grams of almond butter. Dan's just finishing up training, he's gonna have his, and then we're gonna get ready for the seminar.
Right, so post-workout meal, we've got 175 grams of chicken breast, 125 grams of rice, 100 grams of pineapple and 30 grams of dates. Making sure we get in at the gym, so we're within that 20-minute anabolic window. No, we don't want to miss that, so yeah, enjoy.
This is spots. A thief will always be a thief. Sooner or later, if you give them enough time, the truth, that human being will come out. You follow what I'm saying? And that's just, unfortunately, there's people in the world like that, that has to put down others to make themselves feel good. I'm not like that. And that's why when we go, places are packed. That's why, Levrone Signature Series, our company and stuff, we're in over 100 countries around the world because I do what I do for the people, not to put people down, and we don't need to do that as being IFBB professional bodybuilders. I think we need to be held to a certain standard, to respect the guys, regardless of where they place or how they look. Who might have said, look, dude, I look like, my personal opinion, I look like crap when I was on 2015, wasn't when I came back? 16. Like, really? I'm not gonna sit on stage and talk, say anything. It's like, that's what happened. I got dead last in a Mr. Olympia, right? When I did my comeback.
So that is all from us today. We have obviously gone through our training, we have gone through our current updates with our food, and then we've obviously had the seminar as well. So it has been a fantastic day, and we will sign off and see you soon.